Yes, it's just very brief. So the idea of presenting you the, let's say, the in-house, what we have called the in-house experiments, is, let's say, for you the experiment on itself is, let's say, is of less interest. But what we have tried to do is to just present, let's say, the best practices or how we actually interact with the platform. So basically, this is what I am sure that Rachid has done, and I am sure that David and Flavio will do. They will focus, of course, on the experiment, but they will focus more on how the experiment actually uses the platform. And I think that this is what might be of your biggest interest from the experiment description. So just wanted to, let's say, to make your focus a little bit more target, and this should be what we thought should be of largest interest for you. So only this. So David, whenever you want, you can proceed.
Okay, thanks, Lucy. Yes, indeed, we have 7 minutes for each experiment, so the idea is to be quick and go to the point. We have prepared some slides just to leave them in the Moodle platform so that you can make use of them if you want. And our idea was to go to the point and show what we do behind the curtains during the live demo that we are going to provide you guys. Okay, so I don't need to stop in this content. This is a brief summary of the technologies used in this experiment. We have used Node.js, Leaflet, or you have this in the slide. And what we are doing now is in this experiment is basically using this IoT registry API instead of using Rachid's stuff or Fiesta's default stuff. We have directly accessed through the IoT registry API, as well Flavio is doing his experiment. So basically, we have carried out a client-server approach with a server running all the communications between the experiment per se and the Fiesta IoT platform. What we are doing as well is to save all these observations at experimental sites in order not to overload the system with repetitive SparkQL queries. For instance, if 20 experimenters are running the web client, they might have requesting the very same information, thus leading to 20 times the network load that should be needed in case that we did it only once. What we are doing behind the scenes in these arrows, we are doing this resource discovery through the SparkQL that you have in the Postman collection, this environmental one that I hinted you before. We are retrieving historical data through SparkQLs. We are also using either the endpoints, the IoT service endpoint from the Smart Santander testbed and the SparkQL queries to retrieve the information filtered according to a particular node. In order to stick to future data and in the meanwhile we don't have this subscription system, we have carried out a kind of periodic polling in which we have scheduled a kind of 5 minutes request response schedule to get the data. And as well, since we have to quantitatively assess the performance of the platform, we have tried to focus and to highlight the differences between the types of access to the data itself. Okay, this is the elements, the concepts of ontology that we rely on. These are the SparkQL queries that we've used to discover the resources in this part. As I said before, endpoints are optional, so it's important to put them as optional parameters, otherwise we wouldn't see anything. And these are the way to retrieve the last observation measured by the sensors of our wheel. And having said this, this is the actual interface that we have so far, and the material that we'll share with you guys as soon as, at least I hope to have something ready and stable to share with you soon. Okay, so then what I'm going to show you is the experiment. Let me change to the second monitor, you see the you see the GUI, and then what I'm going to do now is to update the browser to refresh it. Technically speaking, what we are doing now, first step, is not to do a SparkQL query to discover all the resources, but to ask the server to give us the off-the-shelf resources that it discovered in the past. Okay, and through this SparkQL query, which is quantified here, this is the time consumed needed for the server needed to retrieve all the resources, and all we can do here is to play around with the data per se. Let me show you the other options that we have. We have to retrieve data. We set two options. One, through IoT service endpoints, which is used by this. We are directly calling the endpoint through the IoT registry, which translates the endpoint to the legacy FIESTA 1 and then goes down to the testbed, and we receive back the answer. This is one of the options, and the other one, let's say the most elegant one, is through SparkQL queries, which is based on sending the corresponding SparkQL query to the IoT registry, and then we'll receive back the latest observation stored at the triple store. Okay. Other options that we can play around with, we can filter the resources that we want to interact by means of manipulating the list of resources that we have locally at client side through this basic toggle group. And this is let me retrieve the whole list of nodes, and the very same option through the execution of a SparkQL query. Same result set, and if we see, we can see, oh, has a problem with the style here, and while locally we need 700 milliseconds, the process is generally slower using SparkQL queries. So at the same time we play around with data, we quantified it in order to discover or to come up with a conclusion of or way of best practices to get data from. Another things that we can do in the experiment, just let me retrieve everything. We can dynamically select all nodes in areas, making some dynamic groups or virtual entities from which we can process data and provide some kind of weather station of the combined information from all the results, all the nodes captured within this area. And more or less, in the 7 minutes I promised, it's all we have done so far. In the future, we'll perform some fancy graphics through the D3.js library. We plan to do many things, but so far, this is what can I tell you. So should you have any questions, please say something. Otherwise, I'll leave the floor to Flavio.